Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the 2025 AFL trade period. Here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel, it is on. Let's be honest, trade period feels like it's already been here for a while. We've been talking about potential deals and interests and all sorts of things for a while, but it is Monday the 6th of October, and that means that trade period is officially underway. And in this video, I'm going to set the scene on all the aspects that we currently have in front of us, and we will go from there. So we'll start, I think the big talking point will be Charlie Curnow. In fact, I know the big talking point will be Charlie Curnow. He's the biggest name, not only from the Carlton perspective in trade period, but also the AFL's perspective. And this is where it currently sits. This is GM of football, Chris Davies, talking about the current Charlie Curnow situation.
Charlie Curnow is the big talking point, obviously, at the Carlton Footy Club. Where does it sit with Charlie?
Well, we've been really clear as a club over the last period of time about Charlie. You know, 4 years to go on a deal. We really want him to see that through, and that's what we expect to end this trade period with.
Have you had any firm offers from either the Swans or the Cats on Charlie?
Well, no, we haven't, and I think it's a really uncomfortable situation for probably Charlie to be in at the moment. And you know, the message that we want to make sure that he hears is he's a really valuable member of our club, and we really want him to see that deal through.
Have you gotten to the bottom of why he wants this?
Well, I think the last 12 months has been a pretty big period of time for Charlie, without knowing the specifics, but clearly he's had some body issues that he's had to deal with, and the season clearly didn't go the way that the club wanted it to, but far better for him to answer those questions from our standpoint. He's a really valuable member of our group.
Is there any deal you would accept? Like, does it have to include players and quality players for you to think about it?
Yeah, look, I don't think that there's any value right now in me going through hypotheticals, Cal, other than to say that the clear aspect here is that we want Charlie to be a Carlton player into the future.
So that's interesting there. I mean, a lot of this, I think, is just posturing and chess moves, but public statement is public statement. No official formal deals have been tabled for Charlie Curnow. I guess it's all discussion and potentially negotiation, but the club is holding firm. We also saw this with Nick Austin yesterday with Carlton Media talking about the Charlie Curnow situation. So that marries up there. Then the next item on the agenda is the picks. So we received our picks for Tom De Koning and Jack Silvani, and this is where it currently sits.
Okay, Tom De Koning has moved to St Kilda, as has Jack Silvani. That gives you pick 9 and 21 at the moment. What do you do with your draft hand? Has anyone come for the first pick yet?
Well, it gives Nick and Mick some real flexibility, which is important for us. I wouldn't want to define where that's going to end, but the great thing entering a trade period is to have as much flexibility as you possibly can. And our club has good flexibility. We've got some players that want to come to us who will help us from a depth perspective. We certainly don't believe that they'll help our team performance as well. But having overall flexibility is an important aspect of ending a trade period with your list being better.
Next up is the 3 trade requests that have been made official, and that is Buku Khamis, Campbell Chesser and Liam Reedy.
Buku Khamis, Campbell Chesser and Liam Reedy all want to come to Carlton. How far progressed are those deals?
Well, it's a great thing, firstly, that those guys do want to come, and it says something that the club, is a destination for players who want to end up with us. And that standpoint, is clear that we think that there are deals that can get done. Ultimately, some of those will rely upon the other club also wanting to do the deal, but we believe we can end with those 3 players in through this trade period.
Next up will be the Harry Dean situation. So this is our father-son prospect.
Have you got a sense, or your team got a sense yet, on where a bid could come for Harry Dean, the father-son this year's draft?
Well, I've watched a fair bit of Harry Dean lately, and he's certainly a very good player who we think will help us into the future. So, where that bid ends up, we'll find out on trade night. On draft night. But for now, it's nice to be able to look at a player like that and think that he can end up at Carlton, if we wanted to.
Stay tuned. I'm going to do a full breakdown of Harry Dean and his link to Carlton, and also go through some of the talking points around him that he provided. He provided some quotes about where he's at with his football and what he's looking forward to. Then we have two other players on the agenda. Now, the first one is Elijah Hollins. We all know the story about Elijah Hollins this year. We know that he's contracted, and we know that he has been told to explore his options.
Has there been any interest in Elijah Hollins, who's been told to explore his options?
Well, for right now, that's where Elijah is at. He's exploring those options, and there's still, even though the trade period feels like it's gone on for 2 weeks already, there's still 10 days of it left. So, I'm sure that there'll be discussions about Elijah into the future, and if he doesn't end up at a new club, then we'll have to assess what we think Elijah's future is from there.
And then finally, Sam Walsh. I will also have a separate video on Sam Walsh coming out. He's contracted until the end of next year. He really is in a similar situation to Tom De Koning this time 12 months ago. And this is the current state of play for Sam Walsh.
Final one, looking ahead to 2026 as well. Sam Walsh is one of the biggest free agents in the pool. Been any talks yet? Where do things sit on the contract front for Sam?
Well, the club's pretty comfortable with where that has gotten to. Sam's been away over the off-season so far, and I'm sure we'll enjoy the remainder of his break. And once he comes back and gets into pre-season, we'll have that sort of chat from there. I'm pretty comfortable that the players get the opportunity to assess what they want. Certainly from our club's perspective, we believe Sam can be a massive player for us into the future.
Okay, so that's it. That's where it sits. That's where we're at. I mean, just touching on the Sam Walsh thing, really hope that we get this done before round 1 next year. We now have a bit of a timeline. Now we know that, I guess we're going to wait until he gets back from his off-season, when they get back into pre-season training in November, December. So that's a watch and see. That's a watch this space, because he's a big name, potentially a future captain of the club. And so there is the latest. That sets the scene for what promises to be a very exciting trade period. Stay tuned for more updates as we go. Speak to you soon.